Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ohio Intra Express 200 at the Brickyard here in Indianapolis, Indiana, for another race of the ERSCA Belly Up Sports Series. Hope everyone enjoyed their Memorial Day holiday and week break here with the series, but we are back here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the second and final round here of the regular season in our series. Dom Santino alongside David Westergreen. David, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Ready for the second to last race before the chase, and I think this thing is going to be pretty hectic today. Last year, we did see this series go to Indy in this car. Kyle Smalley won that race, and he's back again tonight looking for a repeat.
We'll see if he can come in and kind of spoil the party of some guys looking to pick up possibly a big win here tonight and kind of help out their playoff chances with just one race remaining after tonight, as we have the points up here. Carlos on the fly pulling those up for us. We appreciate it. There they are on the screen.
Yeah, I think winning a race does lend itself to be kind of a lock, but at this point, Hank Steinmiller, who had been fifth in points early in the season, won at Auto Club. He has found himself on the outside looking in at the top 10. That's kind of a big story. He is like the top bubble driver. Remember Scott Crump won a few weeks ago? We kind of said it was him punching his ticket to the playoff. Currently, Scott Crump not in the playoffs based on two guys who have a win in front of him in points and in those wild card spots. I think the thing that these guys are going to be hunting today is his maximum points. You'll see pit strategies going for the halfway points. And then, especially from this group here, like Matthew Weeks, Mark Whitley, Damian Leininger, these guys are going to be going for maximum points here tonight.
It'll definitely make it interesting to watch as we get ready to go here tonight to see who pulls what strategy, and might be some risky moves out here by some guys going for those points.
Yeah, as we saw last year, Hank Steinmiller had tried to, I think he had actually saved enough fuel to cut a pit stop out of the race and was leading really late. Caution came out. He had the lead. He was going to come down with everyone else and probably retain the lead. Wound up not, I think either he didn't check tires or the car didn't get fuel or something along those lines, where he ended up making a mistake out of it. But you could see some guys really stretch the fuel. You'll see some guys short pit trying to get an advantage on the new tires. This race is going to have all of the elements of a classic, NASCAR style race with different strategies, and I'm really looking forward to it. Qualifying right now. It's going to take a minute for these guys to start putting laps on the board. Chad Bear with us this week, 91 car. He occasionally makes his mark on the ERSCA series. Won the Daytona Roval last year, I believe.
Got Gerald Campbell out there as well. Smalley, Whitley, all registering qualifying times here, or will in a minute.
Smalley had originally signed up for the series. I believe he had to back out due to some commitment concerns. But you knew he wasn't going to miss Indianapolis to try to defend his race win here last year. I do look for these guys to be incredibly loose in the center and exiting of these corners, but I think they're going to be really tight all around just based on how the Xfinity car tends to drive at Indianapolis. The last time I came here, though, in the heat of the day, very, very loose on exit. And this car currently driving on a 121-degree track. That's almost max temp, you would think. I mean, it's pretty close. These guys are really going to have to wrestle the car today on the exit of these corners. You can see Whitley sliding the rear, trying to kind of orient that car to point straight down these long straightaways. Currently on pole, though he's coming for his second lap right now. And it looks like the second lap wasn't faster for Mark Whitley, so we'll have to see if some people pick up that second lap. Kyle Smalley finishes it up. He was 4th on the board. His first lap was quicker. Now falls to 5th as Scott Crump takes over the pole. I think Crump's going to have something to say about him today, too. This is the kind of track that tends to favor him, one with that loose condition. We like to see, the tires wearing. That's kind of a Scott Crump type of racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely. James Heater out there right now. Clocks in at 4th quickest.
Everybody seemed to run faster on their first lap, showing those tires are really falling off a lot. Crump, Whitley, Trupiano, Heater, and Hank Steinmiller, the top 5. And I'm looking for Hank to also have a really good run today. He did fall to the bubble, and he was a contender last year, even if it was just on pit strategy. I think Hank could have a really good day today. Kwame Scott just jumped to 10th quickest, the points leader. Bit of a shocker here. Ryan Lutz down in 18th on qualifying. As I recall, last year Lutz struggled at Indianapolis as well. I think it was his worst race in the chase, which was just an 8th place finish. So that just speaks to how dominant his chase was. But I think qualifying is all over. I don't see Tate Lytle on track. And we're getting ready to grid. So here's the starting lineup. Scott Crump on the pole. Mark Whitley, Andy Trupiano, James Heater, and Matthew Bayuk sneaks into the top 5 right at the end. Then it'll be Steinmiller, Smalley, Massey, Rexing, and Leininger rounding out the top 10. Tommy Scott there in 11th. Seth Rawls starts 12th. Next page would be Chris Worrell, 13th. Nick Indelicato is 16th there. He's one of our points contenders. Ryan Lutz qualifies 20th. Not his best run for sure this season. Johnny Thomas up there in 15th. We'll see if Johnny's got anything for him tonight. Jared Mogard, one of the bubble drivers, will be going for 22nd. Ty McIntosh taking a step into the ERSCA series this week, running the 1 car. Onto the back group of this field, you'll see several names in here that we would not expect to see back here. Ethan Burrell struggled in qualifying. Don't know if he also struggled in practice. Ethan may need a good run today to keep that momentum up after good runs the last couple of weeks. Matthew Weeks back here in 31st.
Yeah. As we go throughout the order there, you can see Cameron Rich as well, 35th. Tate Lytle will start 36th. Zishan Duro will start 37th.
Yeah, not expecting Rich and Lytle to be starting so far back either. I know we've got Rich's onboard camera tonight. We'll be on board with Cameron Rich flying through the field.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have our eyes in the back of the pack as well as we watch these guys try to make their way through.
With that, should we give our picks, and why don't we let Carlos go and give his pick first?
Oh my goodness! Due to popular demand, I'm kind of forced to go with Cameron Rich.
A shocking choice. Crazy turn of events, especially off of Rich's win last week at Charlotte. Dom, who you got tonight?
No, I'm going to make it fair, and we'll see who can come through the back the best. We'll go with Tate Lytle tonight.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. You guys go with the back. I will take the track position. I will come right up to the front. But I'm not going to go all the way to the front. I'm going to jump back to 5th, go with the fastest guy in practice, Matthew Bayuk, be my pick tonight. Bayuk's been hunting a win. He's on the bubble looking for a good run. I believe he's in by a few points right now. So look for Bayuk to make some noise in that shifty sports car. Been working with Nick Indelicato. And yeah, let's see if Bayuk can get it done tonight. pacing. You know,
Getting ready to go green. Lights out on the pace car this time. Crump Whitley going to bring us to the green flag.
I think I mentioned it just when I went through the top 10. Nick Massey starting in 8th. That's another one we're going to have to keep our eye on, especially on a slick track, 2 miles. Nick will have something to say for him before tonight is over with. Pace car is off. Scott Crump goes immediately. Away we go for the Ohio Intra Express Indianapolis 200.
Whitley did not get a good start at all.
He got snookered there a little bit by Scott Crump. Crump jumped so early, it surprised Mark a little bit, and he falls back into the clutches of Matthew Bayuk, who's trying to get third away from him.
Trupiano slots into second. Bayuk will have to settle for third. And Steinmiller will round out your top 5.
Well, Smalley not getting a good start there at all. He loses the spot to Massey. Now Damian Leininger going to try to go around the 95 car. Meanwhile, up front, it's all Scott Crump entering turn 3 for the first time at the Yard of Bricks.
Single file through the top 7, and then that first battle we have on your screen right there for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Bunch of bubble guys in that battle too. Damian Leininger, Jared Rexing, Seth Rawls.
Here goes Chad Baer to the inside. He'll make the pass around Chris Worrell for 13th.
Battle Smalley's getting taken advantage of right now. He lost the spot to Leininger. Now he's going at, Jared Rexing's going after him. These guys trying to go after the newcomer. Not let this guy get out in front. We know what he can do in these Xfinity cars at Indianapolis. Battle for second. Mark Whitley went after Andy Trupiano. He got to the inside. I think he's going to get him right here. New second place driver Mark Whitley, another guy who is on that bubble. I'm going to talk about it all day long. 2 races until the chase. These guys are looking to maximize their points.
Three laps down here. Pretty lengthy laps here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
A lot of straightaways. You're going to see a lot of draft, keeping this field bunched up to some extent. We're seeing it right now as Mark Whitley kind of drafts back towards Scott Crump based on their lap times being fairly close together. Whitley does have the advantage of being able to ride in tow down the straightaways. Hank Steinmiller giving a look on Matthew Bayuk for 4th.
Steinmiller looks like he has the position, but Bayuk can be able to hold it out of the corner. 3 and coming out. Steinmiller going to take another peek. Side by side.
Right down they got the draft up top. Steinmiller may fall, but just based on that, yeah, Bayou clears Steinmiller. Heater now at the top of Hank Steinmiller. And you see just this little bit of battling has allowed Trupiano in the top 3. Crump, Whitley, Trupiano, they just pulling away. This group behind needs to sort themselves out in order to not lose touch with those leaders. Quick look at some of the guys who started in the back. Tate Lytle is up to 32nd, Cameron Rich 33rd. They have not made much progress at all. It is very difficult to pass at Indianapolis, and they might need to use pit strategy of some kind to get that track position and get up to the front.
Yeah, Tate's picked up 4 spots. That's the biggest of the group right now. Just 4 positions. Most anyone's moved up through the order, so it says a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody's making very many moves Only a couple of spots shuffled here and there. All right, well, it's up 2. Damian Leininger up 3. Tate up 4. Those are the big movers so far. I wonder if some of these guys are riding, trying to save their tires on this very slick racetrack, up to 124-degree track temp now. And I think as we get, even further into the day, that is going to rise, going to make it very difficult for these guys to get that drive off down these long straightaways. Don't look now, Dom, but we're getting a battle for the lead starting to brew. Mark Whitley has gone from about a second behind Scott Crump up to 2/10 back last time by, and I think he's even closer now.
Whitley has reined in that gap he lost off the start, pulled right back up to your pole sitter Scott Crump, and now looking to try to take the lead away from him here as he is right there.
Ooh. Crump with a little bit of a blink in the center of 3 and 4. It must be a little disconcerting for Mark Whitley. No matter though, 77 car starting to look and peek to the inside. He'll think better of it entering turn 1. Put lap 6 on the board.
Trupiano starting to close in as well there in third, slowly eating away at that gap.
One thing I'm watching is Mark Whitley's got those left side tires down below that white line in every corner. He's about the only guy I'm seeing that's doing that, but here he comes. Mark Whitley. Ooh, contact in the back. They're going to be wrecking. This is going to be a caution. Whitley does take the lead, and there's the yellow flag. I think Tate Lytle might have gotten a piece of it. I think Vincent Isabella was definitely involved. Josh Clark involved. I think Tate's actually going to get away from this okay.
Yeah,
Clark
Tate
and Isabella, the two that really end up victims here.
Yeah, Tate just narrowly missed that one.
Like a little bit of neck though. Vincent's car popped up in the air, went side by side with Tate's, and it shot him to the left and into Josh Clark. Tough break for Vincent, tough break for Josh. Yep, right there. Just popped up in the air, nowhere to go.
Couldn't have been any better timing for Mark Whitley, though. For when he made the pass, not necessarily for the caution coming out.
Anybody came down pit road. I think that the track position is just too important to have come down pit road and used a set of tires now.
Nope, here they come.
No. Oh, Manny Trupiano leading him down. Scott Crump dives late. Nick Massey stays out. A lot of jostling here, trying to decide what to do.
Very late commitment there from Scott Crump. Just barely sneaking inside.
The field completely in two, it looks like. About half of them came down pit road, half of them staying on the racetrack.
A big majority of your top 10 came down, though.
All right, Mark Whitley got the lead right before pit stops and then stays on the racetrack while Scott Crump comes down pit road. I don't know, the way this race was shaping up, I think it is a track position race all the way. And so I think, dividing up the field, that's certainly going to be beneficial for whoever's strategy works out here. We really don't have enough information yet to to know which way the right way was.
Do you
Whether
know
to
how
stay out or not.
Do you know how many sets of tires we have tonight?
5 sets of tires. So
Okay.
plenty for 80 laps. I'm thinking the pit window was going to be between 30 and 40, somewhere in there, right? So you'd probably have to make 2 stops, but you maybe could try to stretch it out. Though I think 30 is probably right where pit stops would have begun, and then up to 35 or 40. So, some guys now are going to be able to go to 50, 55 before their first pit stop. Or before their next pit stop, rather. And then they'll be able to go the rest of the way, obviously.
Now, do you think these guys that stayed out are playing more for that halfway point? Do you almost have to stay out to halfway at this point now?
It just depends on how long you can go on fuel, I'm willing to bet they can make it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have stayed out. But we'll see how much that tire advantage is. Matthew Bayuk's going to be coming from 20th. Chris Worrell might actually have the first set of tires, but no, I think it'll be Chris Worrell, but he might have taken 2 because he's out in front of Bayuk. So, it's that group, Bayuk, Mogard, Trupiano, Crump. We'll see what those guys have being able to come through the field. A couple of guys on the bubbled, Leininger, Steinmiller, they came down pit road this time. Ryan Lutz came down pit road well after. In fact, he's got damage on the back of this car. I'll rewind and see if I can find out what happened to Ryan Lutz. I think he got it on the start of the race. Alright, scratch that. Lutz just ended up with an EOL. I'm willing to bet that he bet on pit road. Fortunately for Lutz, he's pretty much locked in. He has the whole race to make it up. Here we go. Away they go. Whitley got it. Oh, they're crashing midfield. Somebody hit the inside wall, and there they go around. No caution.
Zishan and Garen Turner.
Yep. Way back there. Split the field up. Everybody's going. They're going to leave this race green.
They got stacked up. Everybody stacked up. Ethan Burrell was involved in it as well.
Yep. iRacing dictates the cautions. Johnny Eckert doesn't really have a say. The rule is iRacing calls it. Eckert will call it if it's like a track blocking that isn't getting called or something, but regardless, caution doesn't fly. We stay green. Mark Whitley with the lead. Jared Rexing to second. Nick Massey to third. Kwame Scott and Seth Rawls battle for fourth. Big props to the Shift Esports group, though. It's very easy to tell which one is which now, because I know Rawls is the yellow numbers. Here's the replay of that incident.
The top line got backed up. I don't know if it was right off the front row not going or somewhere in the middle there. Someone did not get a good restart. And it stacked that row up, and the rest of the group just had nowhere to go. Caution flag comes out.
Yep, caution out. Crash in turn number 2. Actually, that's 1. I think it's Michael Goodman involved.
It is, and Scott Crump.
Oh, no, that's a bubble driver. Goody just gets Crump on entry. I think Crump made it come up a little bit, thought he was clear. Damage on the 51. Goody just grinds it to a stop. Don't know if there's really a whole lot of significant damage on either of those cars. I think Goody was trying to let him by. Crump thought he was clear, swung up in front, wasn't clear. Caught the left front fender of the 30 car. Crump comes by. Goody's holding it out, holding it down. He didn't come down at all. Crump just drove up the track. Ultimately, I think an inconsequential incident, but it is going to cost Scott Crump a bunch of track position. Wild couple of laps there. We didn't even see the action happening on track. Kwame Scott did get 4th from Seth Rawls.
Now, a couple more caution laps here should pretty much help them essentially get to lap 40 now, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think now, I thought it was going to be like 35 to 38. And with these caution laps, I think Whitley, Rexing, these guys can definitely get to lap 40. But as the cautions fall, that's going to kind of dictate what happens in this race. I don't think any of the guys who stayed out last time, I don't think a half a lap's going to change whether or not they thought staying out was the right move. Though, you know, this is big break for some of these guys. Ethan Burrell got damaged in that wreck. Ryan Lutz had to check up for that restart wreck. He's going to be able to catch the field again. Crump, obviously, with some damage. He'll get to come fix it. Seth Rawls thinking about it. He's not going to go down pit road.
I think he was kind of seeing if anyone was going to bite behind him. Nobody else came, so he decided to stay out.
Yep. I think that's kind of in line with the call that you've already made. If you're Whitley, Rex, Massey, you've decided this is the play, right? I'm going to stay out. I'm going to keep the track position. I'm going to be up front. Hope that nothing, you know, it doesn't quite go green, because I think that would be difficult for them to keep the track position. But the caution comes out at the right times. They will find themselves remaining up front. It depends. I don't know. I don't really know how much the advantage is for the fresh tires yet. Apparently, Matthew Bayou, I think he made up 2 spots up to 17th under that lap. He'd be the top car since Crump got wiped out there.
All right, should probably 1 or 2 more pace laps here.
I believe we are coming to 1 to green.
Put us at 15 laps complete when we go green flag racing once again. Seems like that top line has had trouble getting going on these restarts from our opening restart and then that last one where it kind of stacked everybody up mid-pack. See what happens here on the third one.
Yep. Definitely not as clean so far as the first couple of starts of this race, or the original start of this race. Bubble drivers in trouble thus far. Jared Mogard way down the order in 31st. Ryan Lutz 27th. He's not really a bubble driver, but a top contender, not having a great night. Hank Steinmiller 26th. Damian Leininger 25th. He is on the tire strategy, so is Steinmiller. They didn't really go anywhere in a lap and a half. Ethan Burrell, 2nd in points. He should make it regardless, but having a dismal night in 33rd, damage in that wreck. I think the door is open for somebody to really gain some points this week. Mark Whitley is currently out of the chase. So a win, a top points run, that would be absolutely massive for the 77 car.
As we kind of expected to happen, happened after the first pit stop, but Cameron Rich, Matthew Weeks, Tate Leto, all those guys that started in the back stayed out. So they're currently running 13th, 14th, and 15th at the moment on old tires.
And we saw Tate Lytle in that net code with Vincent Isabella also, so he's already had an adventurous day.
Believe it or not, we're closing in on a quarter of the way done here already.
Chad Bear just parked it against the outside wall from 8th and retired the car. I don't know.
Had to be some sort of connection issue or something. Something went haywire there.
DC, he's gone. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. The outside lane moves up. Gerald Campbell, Joe Francis into the top 10. We're ready to go green.
Pace car going to peel off here. Mark Whitley going to get his second restart attempt here to lead us back to green. He gets a great jump over both Nick Massey and Jared Rexing.
To the lead, Rexing to second, Massey to third, battling with his teammate Colton Scott. Give it to the 40 car, Kyle Smalley into fifth, around Scott Seth Rawls, who falls to seventh. For the time being, he's side by side with Gerald Campbell. Almost a little bit of contact.
Joe Francis, Nick and Delicato battling for 8th and 9th.
A lot more orderly this time around. See if these guys can click off a few laps, see what the tire advantage is for that mid-pack group. Right now, the advantage is all Mark Whitley. Oh, man, Robert Hill gets the wall. He's going to slide off the fourth corner. He will save it. Everybody's okay. Robert Hill with an incredible save coming off of four. I think he's got to get some contact with Tate Lytle. Here it is. Nope, that car just got loose out from under Robert Hill. Caught it. Impressive save. Lost a bunch of spots. But he still has a clean 0-5 car.
Got a couple battles going on track here while we were looking at that replay. Seth Rawls going after Jared Campbell. This is a battle for 6th and 7th. And then
there as well.
Cameron Rich broke into the top 10. He got around Dylan Thomas. Tate Lytle would follow him through for 11th as well. Matthew Bayuk is right on the back of those guys as well. He's climbed his way up to 13th on the fresh tires.
Bayuk's the one I'm watching for sure. See what those tires look like in terms of an advantage. Right now, though, it just looks difficult to pass. Nowhere to go. There's only one groove at this Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The bottom, everybody wants to be hugging that white line, or in Mark Whitley's case, well below it.
It might be a race on these fresh tires, too. Andy Trupiano is right on the back of Bayuk right now, kind of looking for that line to pass and seeing if he can sneak in underneath somewhere.
Things that, iRacing kind of in general has fostered, I would say, is when you do have the tire advantage, right? And Bayuk and Trupiano are on the same strategy. This race is young, right? We're not quite a fifth of the way through, but you're going to see it right here. Trupiano's going after Bayuk. Bayuk throwing the block. These guys are busy trying to beat each other when they have the advantage and should be fighting against the rest of this group in front of them.
Oh, Tate Lytle just got loose right in front of Bayuk.
Woo! We don't have a good hands move of the race, but if we did, we'd probably have to split it between Tate Lytle and Robert Hill. A couple of really remarkable saves on this run. And that move right there where Tate cuts and crosses Trupiano's nose, that does give Bayuk a little bit of breathing room for that first car on fresh tires position.
Cameron Rich now going after Joe Francis. He'll make that move pretty easily.
Francis let him have it. Surprised Tate's battling, as tough as he is right now against a couple of these guys. Trupiano, Bayuk. They're gonna get around him. They've got the tires.
Make it.
Oh.
Nick Delicato to the inside here of Jared Campbell. At least took a peek. That door got shut pretty easily. That's for 7th and 8th.
This battle between Trupiano and Tate might result in a wreck here. Trupiano's thrown it in a couple of times. Tate's kind of pinching him off. I think he's going to get him here, and he does. Matthew Weeks lets his teammate in, but they've got more hungry, fresh tire drivers breathing down their neck. James Heater among those. Wesley Crump is in that group as well. Johnny Thomas, Dallas Myhand, all hunting the front of the field with fresher rubber.
These guys on old tires, David mentioned it earlier, pretty slick out here. You can see him sliding around a little bit. Dylan Thomas had his hands full just about a lap ago or a couple corners ago behind this group.
The Cameron Rich on board here, and I do love his headphones. Carlos pointed those out to me early in the broadcast.
Here we go. Bayuk and Trupiano. Trupiano gave a little love tap just about a second ago. Now they're side by side.
All this happening behind Cameron Rich, who's going after Gerald Campbell. Oh, the lights are his tack. How about that? Very cool. Bayuk and Trupiano side by side. I think you're going to have to give it to the 7 car. Trupiano might have the advantage here as they come up on Dylan Thomas.
James Heater's closed in on these two as well.
Bayuk sideways. They think that's going to be all she wrote for that position. In fact, Heater's going to get to the outside of Matthew Bayuk.
It's getting tight in here. It's quite a few cars bunched in a very tight area with them trying to battle with these guys on older tires that are battling for positions themselves.
Joe Francis jumped out of line to try to get Gerald Campbell and just about wiped out. Dylan Thomas now to his inside. They're going to wreck behind. Steinmiller around. He's going to save it, I think. Did he get the inside wall? He did.
Yeah.
That is a horrible break for Hank Steinmiller.
Green flag still out. There it is.
Hank got it on the track. That changes everything. I think, I don't think you can make it on one more stop, actually. I think that the bet has been laid with the strategy.
Well, if you're the guys out front, you got to stay out. You've committed this long. You got to stay to the halfway point.
Right. And Whitley, Massey, Rexing, Kwame, Kyle Smalley, no one was touching that group. They were pulling away from that huge battle that we were keeping our eye on.
Well, and if you're those top 5 up front, sorry, David, go ahead and break down this rack, and I'll get to my point.
Yeah, Dallas Mahan came off the corner and got loose and got into Steinmiller, I think, right there. Yeah. I think we'll need maybe a different angle to see if there was like net code or something between the 26 and the 63, but a tough break for one of the guys that is on the bubble. Yeah. And Mogard, another guy on the bubble, he gets a little bit of damage in this. Big save, though, for Mogard there on the apron, but looked like a little bit of, Hank drove the lane. Dallas could have maybe moved back out of it at any point, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. Pit stops. Mark Whitley heading down pit road. The Heater and Trupiano group are staying out. Johnny Thomas bails and stays out.
This is interesting.
I would not have expected this.
No, me either. I would have figured that, especially with how hard those guys were having trouble getting through the back half of the top 10, in 15 laps, I think you could have held those guys off. The top 5 could have at least to hold on to your points.
Well, the question then is, how many laps to the end of the race, right? Everybody's going to have to pit one more time, regardless of whether you stayed out right now or not. I don't see the benefit of pitting here. I think it just puts you into the hornet's nest. We just saw Hank Steinmiller pitted from, 5th at the start of this race, got back in the hornet's nest, and ended up in the inside wall.
I mean, unless the only thing that potentially might help them is if they had like another 5 cautions or so and could save. And maybe really try to stretch it, but I don't know if that might be too big of a risk.
That'd be a lot of cautions. I really hope we're not here that long. That would be all-star race level if you were going to make it from here. And I have won a race where you weren't supposed to be able to make it the whole way. But then, the caution comes out. Caution keeps coming out. You just never pit. No one ever gets by it. It can work. I don't know that I see it working here. This would be, I think, and let me double check this stat. I want to say it's James Heater's first laps out of the season. Nope, he led 9 laps at Texas. And I wouldn't know because I was in the race at Texas and I was not driving. This is the second laps that James Heater has led all season. And this was a guy who was top 5 in points last year in the Xfinity car. Going into the chase. And ever since that chase started, he has kind of fallen off the map a little bit. Now he's got the lead here at Indianapolis. We'll see what James Heater can do with it. And hey, how about Johnny Thomas up there in third? He's going to have the oldest tires, I think, in the top 10. But he might as well go for it and give it a shot here. A couple of guys making some big recoveries, at least through this. Ryan Lutz, Scott Crump, Michael Goodman, Vincent Isabella, they're all up here in the top 10 via staying out.
Seems like Johnny's committing to that strategy that we originally thought all the leaders were going to go with, and maybe trying to pick up some points here and maybe make this a one-stop race, or try to at least.
Johnny's not involved in the playoff here at this point. He's missed a race and, had given it a couple of shots, but ultimately, I don't think he's making a points play. I think he's just trying to get as far off sequence from everybody else as he can and see if it works out for him. I certainly like that call for someone with nothing to lose. So it'll be Heater and Trupiano, Johnny Thomas, Matthew Bayuk, Wesley Crump, Ryan Lutz, Scott Crump, and Dallas Myhand, Michael Goodman, Vincent Isabella. Those are all of the cars who did not come down pit road last time. Pace car is off. Everybody gets going. I think Heater's clear for the lead.
There's actually a decent shot here for these guys that just came down pit road. Mark Whitley, Nick Massey to make their way through the back half of the top 10 here and pick up some stage points just with being on 20 lap newer tires.
Lytle, Damian Leininger.
Big crash.
Hi, McIntosh, Harrison Talent, right in front of Ethan Burrell. They've managed to avoid it. That might be Tate's second net code of the race. We're gonna have to look. He had a couple in the race before this as well. It's just some really big net code incidents with his race car. And then he had that first one with Vincent.
No, I'm
wondering how this started.
They made full contact.
Oh yeah, Leininger comes up off the bottom. Never mind. Gets Dylan Thomas. I think that's Kendall Noah Player. Yeah, Damian came up off the bottom. Not good for Damian. He is right on the bubble. Yep, he hit the curb. Oh, Rich is going to have damage. Matthew Weeks did put in the driver's chat that we need to look at the 11 car on the onboard.
Tate saved it, though. He didn't hit anything. He just spun.
Ooh. Bert misses Gerald, and then this is the wreck. Good move by Matthew Weeks. Now we were talking about Cameron Rich. We've seen him, get involved in this wreck here. I just want to note that Cameron's, and you might have to correct me on this, Carlos. I want to say fiance. It might be girlfriend, but Caitlin. It might be wife. Cameron Rich's significant other shows up to every race and types in here that she believes in Cameron. And I think that's the kind of loyalty and love that we all need. Unfortunately, though, tonight Cameron does not have it. But no fault of his own. Got sucked up in a wreck that was not his own doing. love Nugget. Don't even know him, and I love him. Ethan Burrell said he had to go on board as well in that wreck. We do have plenty of caution here. I know Ethan did dodge Harrison Talon and Ty McIntosh coming across the track. Getting it woed up, and then here come two more guys coming across his nose. A good dodge by Ethan Burrell, who does have damage in this race. A little bit surprising to see him running somewhat poorly, but you know, a lot of rear end damage to that 37 car. And they are 1 degree. Johnny Eckert shortened the caution for us there.
So Nick Massey had a good restart. He's all the way up to 9th. Whitley's still back in 12th.
Yeah, what happened there? Whitley got... Oh, we lost the scoring. All right. Oof. Mark Whitley got stuck behind Michael Goodman there on the bottom, is what happened. They ended up 3 wide. It worked out, but Whitley lost a couple of spots. Now Massey and Kwame Scott are both in front. Apologize for the graphics. We'll get them working here shortly. For now, pace car is in.
Peter, going to be able to lead us to the green flag for the first time? Leaders have been able to get a good jump here on the restart.
Cameron Rich pulling it off down back there. I don't know if he's done or if he's trying to avoid any future wrecks or what. Nick Massey is shot to the very top of the racetrack. He's looking to pick up spots in any open track he can find it.
Johnny Thomas had to throw a pretty aggressive block, but he slots himself into 4th.
Hopper 2.
Big wreck.
Rexing. Rexing, Rawls.
And then sliding through the infield.
That was my hand. Jared Rexing's the car that went on the wild ride. I do not know at all what happened right there. I thought it last time.
Rexing hit the corner too.
Oh, similar incident there for sure.
Hit the curb.
Let me look back at it here. Underneath Seth Rawls, my hand was 3 wide to the top. Rexing hits the curb and it pinches both Rawls and my hand into the wall. Bad corner for Shift Esports. Well, Rexing had a launch. Rexing got launched by iRacing there. Matthew Weeks is involved. Yeah, we're gonna have to watch Rexing a couple of times here. He gets hit by Michael Goodman and the car just shoots to the inside. There it is, right? Hit, and shoots it to the inside right there. Zach Evans would be proud. Get a hold of it.
Quite a few cars could be toast here with this one.
Got Stay Tuned Sports in the chat. No, it wasn't Scott Crump. Crump's up in P7. He's rooting on the number 51. Here we go. Man. Matthew Weeks caught up in this. It's another one that's on the bubble. Jared Rexing is on the bubble. Well, one aspect of this that you can't see from the onboard, Matthew Weeks came across right behind Ethan and almost clipped him in the right rear and spun him back towards the wall. It was very, very close. Oof. I think that's Wyatt Nadel right there, probably. Good save. Here's Jared Rexing on board. Hit the curb, pinches up 2 guys into the wall. Ooh. So we'll run down the top 10 here. Almost all guys with older tires. James Cedar, the leader. Randy Trupiano, second. Matthew Bayuk is third. Johnny Thomas is fourth. Wesley Crump, fifth. Ryan Lutz is sixth. Scott Crump is seventh. Vincent Isabella, eighth after a spin. Scott Crump has also been involved in a wreck. Both of them have made nice recoveries. Nick Massey is ninth. Kwame Scott is 10th. Those are the first two cars on fresh tires. Nick Delicato, Mark Whitley, 11th and 12th. Kyle Smalley is 13th. Gerald Campbell is 14th. Joe Francis rounds out your top 15. Ethan Burrell has recovered to 16th.
Well, we're 31 laps in, and we still haven't really been able to tell what the difference in tire wear is here tonight.
I think there's a benefit, but I think we would need more than 2 laps to determine how big of a benefit. That's for sure. And for reference, once we hit halfway, lap 40, at the end of lap 40, first place gets 10 halfway points and a playoff point, and then second gets 9 points on back. The 10th place getting 1. Green flag back out. James Heater with another good restart. Oh man, they're trying to wreck Wesley Crump all over the place.
He's gonna wreck. There he goes.
He smacks it into the wall. No one else involved. And somehow from 5th place, we get a single car incident that will not result in a caution.
He was driving pretty aggressively, throwing some blocks all over the racetrack there, trying to hold on to that 5th place position.
Did not work out. Ryan Lutz to 5th, Vincent Isabella to 6th, Scott Crump to 7th. The battle for fresh tires is right there. Kwame Scott, Mark Whitley trying to go after Scott Crump. Crump throws a block on Kwame Scott. That opens the door for Mark Whitley on the inside. Nick Massey's going to follow him through. Bunch of good corners there. Mark Whitley is the one who takes over the top car on tires. I don't know if Kwame Scott's going to be too happy with Scott Crump on that one. Ryan Lutz challenging Johnny Thomas for 4th. Now we'll see what Mark Whitley's fresh tires can do. He's got 7 laps to drive through 6 cars. He'll need to get a car a lap if he's going to get up to the lead by halfway.
I don't think they're going to get there, but I think it's actually that strategy is actually going to work out for them pretty well, especially if we have a couple more cautions here. You know, they pitted around lap 26. They've only had 9 laps since their last pit stop, and they've been under caution for most of those. So they've been able to save their tires, save some gas, and make up spots after pitting to pick up some stage points here and be 20 laps better on fuel. So,
well, I think everybody has to pit one more time. Is the only downside to this. You know, you don't know how the cautions are going to fall, but everybody's got to pit one more time. I think I want to be on. I always want to be on the tires. I want to be charging. I don't want to be falling back. It's not fun. Just trying to hold on with the older rubber. Mark Whitley and Nick Massey, they're together right now. Scott Crump lost about 10 spots there. Last couple of corners, he finally got kicked up to the outside. Vincent Isabella is the next victim of these guys on fresh tires. Here comes Matthew Bayuk for 2nd.
now the thing that happens here, if these get 3 behind Peter to get to a battle, that can allow Whitley and Massey to close quickly. And in fact, here they come.
Big run for Mark Whitley. He's going to be coming after Ryan Lutz. Lutz kind of leads him to the bottom. Not really a block because Lutz is going after Matthew Bayuk. They might be 3 wide for 2nd here.
Bayuk throws a block. Almost got turned there. I think Lutz might have let up just a little bit.
Lutz still leaning on that Indy Trupiano. In fact, he might have gotten into him there. Big race for 2nd. It's allowing Heater to get away.
Trupiano is going to lose 3 spots right there because of all that. Lutz, Whitley, and Massey going to go by.
Remember, Ryan Lutz does not have those tires. Lutz thinking about throwing a block into 3. Not going to work. Whitley stays behind him.
It might be really close. If they can get Lutz and Bayuk here in the next lap or so, it might be really, really close.
We really don't know what that advantage is. They've been stuck in traffic behind these guys. The advantage might be really significant with those fresh tires. It just that because there's only one lane, you have to get the advantage through the middle of the corner and onto the straightaway, and that's where you have to make your passes. Whitley and Massey through to third and fourth. They'll now go after Bayuk.
Well, and the other thing is, too, is Heater hasn't really been able to pull away that far. Only a half a second gap from Bayuk to Heater. So with those new tires, once these guys get Bayuk, they're going to eat up that half second really fast.
So Bayuk and Whitley side by side. Mark Whitley going for this stage point. He is the first driver out of the bubble, and he's seen some of his bubble contenders go by the wayside. Massey follows Whitley through. Massey just letting Whitley carve his way through the middle of the field to get up to the second and third spot.
There
Whitley's
it is.
going to be in the lead
Gone.
next time by here.
Yep, lead's gone for Heater.
And so's the lead position. Whitley to the bottom. Mark Whitley with an impressive drive through the field. Finally got some green flag laps and just took over 7 cars in about 4 laps. Mark Whitley to the race lead.
Massey going to follow suit here in just a minute. He's caught Heater now. Here he comes to the inside. He'll get him in the corner. Turn 3.
Yep. And they've really left the rest of these guys behind. Nick Indelicato is just now getting to Ryan Lutz. So Indelicato, Kwame Scott, they have not been able to make ground through the pack nearly as efficiently as Whitley and Massey. Next car on tires will be Gerald Campbell, and then Kyle Smalley in the 95.
At least as it comes to the halfway points, Massey and Whitley played this strategy to the halfway point perfectly.
Yeah, they did. I think it also took some really good driving, though. Those guys, the other guys have the same tires. Indelicato, Kwame Scott, those guys have the same tire level. So, I think a big part of it is the way Whitley and Massey were aggressive through the field. Didn't let Ryan Lutz, didn't let anybody slow him down. Because Lutz was being aggressive too, and I thought that might hold him up just enough, but it didn't matter. Here comes Indelicato now on Lutz. That's for 5th. Lutz yields it. And Lutz cuts across the nose of Kwame Scott. Interesting. Gerald Campbell now going after the points leader. Gerald got sideways, though, almost wrecked it. Kwame retains the position. Gerald still catching that car out the corner.
I'm watching this gap here between Whitley and Massey, just seeing if we get, I know we're going for halfway points here, but on a longer run, I think Massey might be the faster car here. He's slowly eating into Whitley's. And Whitley might have had to use his tires up just a bit more than Nick did, trying to get through that pack, too.
Because Nick was sitting there right behind Mark, just letting him open the door, throw the car into the corner, and then Nick's just kind of clearing these guys exiting the corner. Once they lose the lead, well, they're certainly not going to fight Nick Massey. They've already given up a spot. And Indelicato going to clear his teammate Matthew Bayuk for 4th. And I think ultimately Indelicato will get Heater for 3rd before the stage after the next lap.
Hold on here. Massey's going to give it a good shot at trying to take this lead away.
I think so. At the very least, I think Massey's going to end up with the lead here at some point on this long run. Kwame Scott cuts under Ryan Lutz behind this lead pack. Battle for this playoff point and the 10 points at the halfway. Coming down to the wire. Indelicato is under Heater, back for 3rd. Kwame Scott probably going to get Bayuk, but I don't think he'll get Heater.
Talk about the distance or difference in tires here. Indelicato was being held up. I know he's got fresh tires now, but being held up, it'll put 2 and 2/4 second, or a quarter second between the two of Massey and Indelicato.
Massey's close, but he's not close enough. I don't think he's going to be able to get around Mark Whitley unless he uses the bumper. Tries to enter it a little bit differently, but I think it's going to be Mark Whitley completing lap 40 and getting the 10-point bonus.
Yeah, Massey got a good run the lap previous into 1 and 2, into 1. Kind of kept it out of 2, but couldn't get that same run this last lap. And Whitley pulled away down the back stretch, which really helped him.
See Indelicato, Heater, Bayuk, Scott, Lutz, Smalley, Francis, and Burrell. The ones that pick up time. or pick up points rather, and Nick Massey's going for the race lead. Mark Whitley slid up the track in turn 2. That's going to open the door for Nick Massey.
And that was part of it too. Whitley had done that 2 laps ago. He held it together the last lap to pick up the point. Massey had a good entry into the corner. Whitley slid it in a little too hot, and that opened the door, and Massey out front now.
And now the advantage is with these guys with the tires, right? The guys who stayed out, they were looking to get to this point right here, and then they wanted a caution almost immediately. That's not going to work out for them, and they're falling back in a hurry because the tires are just such a faster pace. And we weren't sure how much a faster pace. I think we're seeing exactly how quick. You see how far Nick Indelicato is shot ahead because he was clear of James Heater. I mean, 1.5 seconds in a lap.
The guy that this really hurts is going to be Johnny Thomas, who had gone so far off of everybody else's plan. He's currently in 16th right now, but he's on 42 lap tires.
Right. And Johnny's holding it together pretty well. I think he's doing a little bit better than Vincent Isabella, but at that point, you know, everybody's got older tires now. The fresh rubber is not terribly fresh. Passing is even harder than it was before. And really, you're just looking for someone to kick everybody to the outside. So Ryan Lutz has actually done that. He kicked Heater to the outside, and he is now the first car on old tires is Ryan Lutz in 6th. Ayuk is falling back, Heater is falling back, Tripiano is falling back. And they're all chasing Nick Massey at this point. Whitley's kept Massey right on his right on the tail. He is not letting the 48 get away. Nick Indelicato is 1.7 seconds back as of the start-finish line last time. And they're currently around 1.6 on our live scoring sheet. So Indelicato eating into this lead ever so slightly. There's Kwame Scott and Kyle Smalley, 4th and 5th. Lutz holding back Tate Lytle and Joe Francis in 6th. Tate Lytle, Ethan Burrell took tires last time, and they have now driven into the top 10. Struggles in practice, so what?
Yeah, through the last 3 laps, Indelicato has gained about 0.7 of a second. So he's definitely closing in here, and we could see him close in on this battle for the top 2 here in the next 5 or so laps.
That Indelicato did get the advantage of them going side by side for one of those laps. However, this time by, he's cut 0.2 into it. It's now 1.4. Indelicato is coming. Cameron Rich sneaking back up into the top group. Definitely a bunch of heavy damage on the nose of that 47 car, but fresh tires will kill a lot of your problems, as it were, and Cameron Rich has taken advantage. He's driven through the field now, going after James Heater for 11th. And Chris Worrell's going to go after Cameron Rich himself. That'll be for that 12th position. Worrell's going to get it.
Yeah, I wonder here if Nick saved a little bit trying to make his way through traffic. We talked about how fast the front 2 made their way through, and Nick didn't make it through as fast. But you look at someone like Kwame Scott, who is really just stayed where he is, has not made up any gap, kind of holding his own, but not closing in on Massey or Whitley, and Indelicato just continues to close lap after lap.
Yeah, Indelicato is one of the best at saving tire in traffic. He's very strong at being able to maintain a slower speed, you know, even if he's stuck behind somebody or what, as Manny Tripiano brings the 7 down pit road back there. Yeah, Indelicato's good at that, and it's one of his strongest traits we've seen this year. The question now is, can Indelicato save enough to catch up and drive to the lead here? Because Nick Massey's also one of the guys who's really, really good at saving tires over the long run. Worrell and Rich both going by Heater now.
Picked up another over 0.2 last lap. We'll see what it is this lap. It's going to be some, though. He's gained in. He's got it down to about a second now.
He's also getting that toe from Whitley at this point. He drove up to him. Now he's got the toe in that draft. So I think he will be able to get to the back bumper of Mark Whitley. But, you know, what I'm noticing is as Indelicato closes, Massey starts to pull away from Mark Whitley.
Whitley also has his hands full there. He slid through the corner again. Had to save it. So
James Heater on pit road. Back in the field, I wonder if they can make it.
Actually, Indelicato only picked up 400ths that time. So even though he's closing in on Whitley, did not really make up any ground that last lap.
Coming off pit road right in front of the leaders here, I wonder if that'll change anything, if it might change the handling on the 48 car. We're seeing those guys who stayed out a couple of pit stops ago as somebody came off the pit road. They were on the access road. I think that's Wyatt Nadel in the 84. Wonder what I don't think Nadel is pitted yet. He was one of the ones who on tires, I think.
It'll be interesting to see here. I'm kind of keeping my eye on Johnny just to see how long he can actually run with the cautions.
Well, it's pretty impressive for Johnny Thomas to be still out here in 14th. Hasn't pitted since, I believe, lap 10. It makes 38 laps, I think, for Johnny Thomas. We might need the graphic from Carlos to get that one exactly, but... see what some of these guys are doing in terms of run length.
I think as much as we just hyped up Nick Indelicato, he's kind of stalled out on his charge to the front.
Kind of burnt the tires up. The other thing is that if you notice the track, and yeah, see, there you go. Johnny Thomas pitted, what is that, 16? 15? Lap 15? I can't really read it. Here he comes down pit road right now. Ooh, Johnny almost loses it, but he does pit. I think that was 40 laps. I think Johnny ran 40. So I think that means everybody can make it. I think we can safely assume that. And yeah, I think one thing, Dom, that you mentioned, as Indelicato has stalled out, a cloud has covered the track, actually, and I think that's providing a little additional grip for somebody like Mark Whitley, whose car has been kind of evil handling of late since he started to wear the rear tires off of it. The cloud allows him for a little extra grip, and Whitley's able to hold where he was, though I think actually that lap he was worse. Yeah, lost 2/10, but Indelicato also lost some time. Cameron Rich with a little reaction there on the face cam. Not real pleased with Christopher Rell in this battle for 10th. Displeased driver of the number 47. Now we've got Cooper Johnson coming up behind Massey, but in front of Whitley. Cooper's going to fight hard to get back in the lead lap. That's a driver who could very well, you know, make the bubble, and with some of these guys with the bubble faults, Cooper can get in there. He's going to get around Massey, but that's going to cost Massey a bunch of time in turn 4.
Left 30 to go here when we cross the stripe once again.
Vincent Isabella, another one, going to be, you know, creating havoc in this front group. Just because he pitted and is, you know, currently a lap down, he's going to be going around these guys. Cameron Rich heading to pit road. Ryan Lutz heading to pit road.
Green flag pit stops well underway now.
Some of the heavy hitters in this series on pit road at this time. Lutz had stayed out a long time, so certainly his final pit stop of the day. Cautions pending, of course. Cameron Rich, though, I think he was on tires. So Cameron Rich might be the first car coming down pit road on that had pitted before and was on fresh rubber. So could that be opening the pit window for everybody else? Nick Massey, Mark Whitley, and all these guys, to where they can make it to the end, and they can make it while gaining time.
I
think you'll probably want to stay out as late as possible, though, if this thing goes green.
What a dramatic twist that would be from a caution-filled first kind of half of the race to what we've had develop here so far.
Certainly not. It's certainly feasible that there will be another caution. These cars have been very, very slick, a little bit all over the place, and we've got guys on fresh tires now with a significant speed advantage, clearing through lead lap cars with older tires.
So we saw Johnny go 40. These guys pitted on lap 26. I'm just trying to do math here.
Yep.
It puts them at about 26 laps right now on their tires, so they could go a little bit longer.
Right. And right now, from to the end, we're looking at 27, 28 laps. So they probably, I mean, 2 or 3 laps from now, they'll probably start coming in. Divide this last run in half. Potentially. I mean, they may not. Might stick it out to lap 64, but then I wonder if the advantage, the gap, gained by the likes of Vincent Isabella as he clears around in Delicato, Cooper Johnson, Ryan Lutz, Cameron Rich, those guys are going to have a pretty sizable gap to this lead group.
Yeah, that's always kind of the game, right? How much time are you willing to give up for your track position? You can't let them get too big of a run.
Thomas around. And there's
Caution.
the caution. Vincent Isabella will get the free pass. Cooper Johnson had just gotten back in the lead lap. Lutz, Rich, that's Trupiano. Those guys are going to be the leaders. You know, just as we were talking about it, a guy, Scott Crump, on fresh tires, coming up on a guy on older tires, and Dylan Thomas. And it causes the caution.
I think these guys. Yep.
Go ahead.
I think these guys out front, like you were saying, David, they have to come down pit road right now.
They absolutely do. Yeah, this is it. This is the final pit stop. Here we go. Johnny Thomas might have a close call right there. Oh my. Ooh, Johnny Thomas very lucky. We might need an overshot of that, how close he was to getting absolutely clobbered by this 03 car coming down the racetrack. Oh. All right, we got to call Johnny up for that. Ooh, well, Johnny Thomas is David in the booth.
Hey,
Hey, you need a new change of underwear.
that was pretty close. It might have been, so it happened so fast that I don't know if it looked as close on my angle as it did on yours, but
It looked that close, yes.
Johnny's saying it's pretty close.
Oh yeah. You were very nearly a Dylan Thomas pancake.
What happened there? It looked like some feud going on.
He and Crump ran it. Crump looked like Crump caught up on him really fast. So tire difference.
Maybe Dylan didn't see him. Who knows?
We will see.
Yeah.
Anyway, Johnny, we like your strategy. We like that you stayed out really long there.
Yeah, stayed out. Only had like 2 laps left of gas. I'm gonna stay out again. I don't know where I'm gonna cycle out. Probably second with Bayuk. But
You're gonna be second. There you go.
Them guys behind us gonna have fresh tires. My biggest strategy I want is maybe to run like 10 laps and have a caution. Hopefully, I'm still in the top 10 by then, and recycle the tires.
Good plan, Johnny. Good luck. We hope it works out for you, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising there under caution while we were talking to Johnny. A lot more guys came in than I thought were going to.
I think that was the group, though, because, you know, the other guys who had pitted, although I guess Trupiano pitted. I wonder why Trupiano. I guess he pitted the earliest. He pitted too. I wonder what they're doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Their strategy is to be able to stay out right now and do what Johnny's doing. I don't know. I don't get it.
That's what I was saying. I was looking roughly around the top 10, those guys to come in, as you were saying, and then all of a sudden, everybody but those 4 cars come down pit road.
One big thing, you notice him in front of Matthew Bayuk, Ryan Lutz. I think he sped on pit road there. So cost himself an opportunity to be up here in this top group. He's another one that was just on pit road. So I think the field kind of naturally thinned itself, right? Trupiano and Heater decided against pitting. They will be in the top 10, it looks like. So I wonder if they took 2 tires or something to that effect.
But the two that it worked out for probably the best are Whitley and Massey, because they come down, get 4 fresh tires, and will probably be able to pick through these front 4 pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think so. It does, like Johnny Thomas said, it depends on how quickly the cautions come out and where they fall, right? Because what if, it's Cooper Johnson or Cameron Rich that gets spun for the caution and it takes out the likes of Massey, Whitley, all these guys on fresh tires. Anytime you lose that lead track position, it can really mess your race up. It's always a risk. Ultimately, though, I think Whitley and Massey have the right strategy to be able to put this race away. There's just too many cars in the lead lap at this point. I'm just surprised. I can't believe Trupiano and Heater didn't stay out. I would have thought those guys would have been on the strategy as well. Oh well. Seems like a missed opportunity to me to get off sequence and stay there. The rundown that we've got now, Matthew Bayuk is the race leader, Johnny Thomas second, Cameron Rich third, Cooper Johnson fourth. They are all on 5 to 10 lap tires. Mark Whitley did come off pit road in front of Massey, so he'll be 5th, Massey will be 6th. And Delicato is 7th, Kwame Scott 8th, Kyle Smalley 9th, Joe Francis 10th. And then the Pro Edge racing duo of Ethan Burrell and Tate Lytle are 11th and 12th.
Johnny's theory isn't too far out there. We've seen quite a few times here after getting a caution, the next few laps where 1 or 2 more come out. So his thinking's not too far off here. He's just got to hope that it actually happens.
Yeah, I think so. And he needs a few laps though, right? Johnny needs this thing to go green for 10 laps, then the caution to fall, and him to have not fallen too far back. Him, Bayuk, Johnson, and Rich are all hoping for exactly that same thing. I don't think the advantage is going to be quite as great for Massey and Whitley this time. There will be one, but I don't think they'll go tearing through them nearly as quickly.
No, I think it'll be after that 10-lap stretch or so that we're talking about, because there's only
Massey hit the curb. He's very lucky someone wasn't on his outside right there. He did exactly what Rexing and Leininger did early in the race. Sorry to cut you off there. I thought they were going to be a huge wreck.
All good. No, I was saying that I think that these, 8 to 10 laps really isn't going to make that big of a tire difference. But when we get 20 laps in or so and those tires start to wear, they're going to have a few laps to be able to take advantage of it. Oh, they're wrecking. Trupiano in the wall.
Oh. Crump just hit the inside wall hard. That's going to be the caution. Someone's upside down. Huge wreck on the front straightaway, taking out a bunch of the guys in the back of the field. Yeah, Crump's the one who went upside down and went flipping down the front straightaway, I believe. Oh, man. Trupiano. And then Scott Crump overcorrects it. Oh, my goodness. The Kendall Noah player also that got taken out in that. I think it is. No, Kendall just got into Crump. I think they were checking up for whoever was in front of Crump. We're going to have to go back and look at what happened to Trupiano there as well. I can't tell if Leininger caught him. And then, yeah, Crump checks up. Noah player doesn't. Over they go. Vincent Isabella suggested we watch his onboard. There's the check on from the 18. Yeah, because the Heater checks, Crump checks, Noah player doesn't. I think Vincent Isabella went underneath Scott Crump right there, too.
I think Crump hit the wall about 7 times, too. Bouncing back and forth from the outside wall to the inside wall.
All right, here's Trupiano. Trupiano gets to the wall, hits it a little bit, corrects off, and ends up getting touched by Leininger because he needed that space inside, and Leininger was inside. I think it's a racing deal, but that wasn't even going to bring out the caution because they both went on the pit road. And then Heater checked for it. Crump checked. The player didn't. All right, we got Robert Hill first on board for this mayhem. There goes Trupiano. There's Crump. Ooh, man. Let's see. See how he's feeling after that one. See if we can get Vincent's on board while we get Crump in here. Yes. Put him in the waiting room. Watching Vince go underneath Scott Crump, I believe. Yep. Oh. All right, let's talk to Scott. See if we'll see if he's dizzy after that one. Scott Crump, David in the booth. You got me?
No, I'm in the hospital, got a concussion and everything. I think I'm all right.
Now you've had a pretty eventful day today. After qualifying up front, take us through, just that first incident, and then obviously this bigger one here at the end.
The first one was all me. Cleared myself. I seen him checking up for the corner, so I went a little bit higher, trying to get a good entry in the corner. I just didn't clear. I just cleared myself and just came across his bumper a little bit, just enough to wreck me. And then that one, I seen him checking up, and I guess Kendall didn't see us checking up and just got ran over. And then
Gotcha.
Dylan, I don't know what the hell he was doing. So
Oh yeah,
I guess he was trying to block me. I don't know what for or whatever, but
completely forgot about asking about that.
just
Yeah, it looked like
swerving
you
all
were
over
on
the place, and then just came back down into me. I don't know why, but I don't know what he was doing.
You've definitely had an eventful day, Scott, and I know this isn't the best for the points, but hopefully you can go after him at Daytona and get into the playoff.
Yeah, looks like I'm gonna be the first one out again this year, so it is what it is.
Yeah, let me know if you have any shout-outs here before we send you off to your team.
Yeah, I get a shout out to my sponsors, Stay Tuned Sports Podcast, but shout out to y'all at 3Y TV.
Yeah, we were going for you, man. Hate to see
Appreciate
it.
Yeah, it's just my luck this year or whatever, so we'll get it turned around next year, hopefully.
Gotcha. Well, good luck, man. Good luck next week at Daytona.
All right, thank you.
That was our pole sitter, Scott Crump, who had a very eventful day. Well, Mark Whitley and Nick Massey could not get through the top four in 2.5 laps. And Johnny said he wanted it to go to about 10 laps, but they looked pretty stout. I don't know if it'll take them a while to get back through all of them.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit, and these caution laps definitely don't help for a number of reasons. Obviously, the guys aren't pushing for gas, they aren't pushing on their tires, and it just the less laps they have now to work through this pack and try to get up here and race for the win.
Yeah, I think Bayuk and Johnny and Cameron are all completely legitimate threats for the win at this point. We could see a bit of chaos here with the last 20 laps. If I'm Johnny at this point, your bed's made. You just stay out, see what happens. If you fall back, that's when you pit. But their tires are only 4 or 5, maybe 6 laps, older than the likes of Rich, Massey, and those guys. So, I don't think the advantage is quite as stark as it was last time.
Well, and you talked about it. Johnny really has nothing to lose. Cameron maybe a little bit more than Johnny, obviously, but Johnny has,
of course.
Yeah, Johnny has nothing to lose, so he can afford to take this risk for the next 20 laps. And if it doesn't work out, oh well, at least he tried to get a win.
Exactly. Green flag will be out here. Matthew Bayuk's gonna hold him up a little bit, wait, and then go late. That opens the door for a very stacked up restart. Massey's going to clear Whitley after all that. And Massey shoots to the bottom, trying to get under Cooper Johnson. Cooper throws a big block into turn one. That allowed Indelicato to go to the outside of Massey.
Side by side, Johnny Thomas and Cameron Rich for the second position.
Yep, and then Cooper and Indelicato side by side behind that. People bouncing off the curb, but don't think anyone got it where it's going to be a wreck. We stay green. Indelicato and Massey and Whitley are going to be through Cooper Johnson. Indelicato the first car on the new tires. Johnny Thomas trying to hold Cameron Rich at bay. Nick Indelicato hunting them down, and it's allowing Matthew Bayuk to shoot away with the race lead.
Yeah, Bayuk's pulled out by a second here. 3 wide down below. Here comes Indelicato.
Jared Bogart just blocked Hank Steinmiller to the apron right behind. A lot of aggressive moves here with 20 laps to go. Indelicato clears them.
Massey gonna come underneath as well. He's got Johnny now. He's looking to go after Cameron Rich.
Got a question for you, Dom. Couple of teammates here, 1-2. One of those teammates, 2 wins already this season. The other teammate, 0 career ERSCA wins. They start talking about some teamwork here, trying to get Bayuk his first win.
Possibly could be interesting here. I think it just depends on how much pressure they're feeling behind. Can Nick Massey, Mark Whitley come up here and make a press for it? At that point, if these guys get up here and start pushing on him, Nick might have to just take it into his own hands.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Somebody just pounded the wall. Might have been Kwame Scott, 99 car. Johnny Thomas trying to hold his own. Johnny's doing a good job, you know, with the tire disadvantage. He's certainly not a liability right now. Guys are getting around him based on the tire advantage, but he's not falling quickly. He's just now going to go outside the top 10.
He just threw a massive block on Joe Francis about half a lap ago.
So Indelicato's eating into Bayuk's lead, but not by a lot. Bayuk having that clean air is really helping that 29 car rotate despite the older tires. You've got Indelicato, Massey, Whitley, and Tate Lytle has climbed to 5th. Another guy with a hugely eventful day. Tate's going to go after Whitley. He's going to get him, yeah. Tate to 4th.
And Massey is closed in on Indelicato.
Yep. So now it's whether or not Indelicato is really holding them at bay for Bayuk here. You know, I think if the caution comes out and Bayuk loses this lead, I think Indelicato will go for the win, just standard. But now's when we're going to see what Nick Indelicato has. Or he moves over and lets Massey go. I think there's damage on the right side of the 0-1 car. You see it? Right rear corner?
Yeah, I think I see exactly what you're looking at.
And I think that's affecting him badly. He is trying to hold Massey back, though. That's for sure. He pulled over, but he did not give Massey that inside line, that preferred line. What this is going to do is allow Tate Lytle to close up to these guys, and Massey does clear Indelicato. I think the damage is affecting him.
Tate Lytle right there now as well. He's going to look for the 3rd place spot.
I am going to go back into the restart and see if I can see what happened to Nick Indelicato. I'll let you guys know when I find out.
Oh, Lutz around!
Ryan Lutz goes around. He's got no caution yet. Now it is.
Oh, that could change everything here for Matthew Bayuk.
Yeah, that was not what Matthew Bayuk wanted to see right there.
Lutz just lost it.
Wow. You don't see that often. So Nick Indelicato coming out of turn 4 on lap 64 pounded the wall.
All right, David, you're going to have to look at this, too. Watch how Lutz does not just get absolutely clobbered here coming back on track.
Oh, I saw it. Oh, man. All right. Well,
I had to mute my mic for a minute for Carlos yelling at him to hold the brakes because he should have been destroyed after this slide.
yeah, that was wild. Right here. Oh man, Garen Turner and Chris Worrell just barely sneaking by. And Ryan Lutz has had a bit of a miserable day. He will be thankful that we don't have Indianapolis in the chase this year. Ayuk? All right. We do need to bring Matthew Bayuk to the chat here. He often works with Carlos on Thursdays in ERSCA as a broadcaster. Often has people watching from home. So if you're a Matthew Bayuk fan, let us know. He's leading. Certainly had a chance to win the race right there. I think it's going to be a little bit less likely. Let's see who comes down pit road. Mark Whitley's coming down pit road. Johnny Thomas is coming down. And Johnny needed to. He was starting to fade there in about 10th spot. Surprised that Whitley came though. All right. Let's talk to Matthew Bayuk here. Matthew, it's David in the booth. You got me.
Hey, David.
Hey, yeah, I know that caution probably wasn't your best friend
Nope.
right there, but you got anything for him here on the restart?
I don't know. It's nice to have a teammate behind me. He did clobber the wall, so we'll see how that goes. Definitely wanted that to go green for a few more laps. The idea is having that nice gap. They were going to catch me. They've got the fresher rubber. But if I could keep it in the top 5, top 10, caution around 72, then I think everybody was going to come take a set because they've got them. And that would have set us up nicely. But they're a lot closer now. So, we'll just see how it happens. It's not really how I wanted it to go, but still got the lead late.
Is your teammate going to run some interference for you here? Try to get him by Massey with a good restart and see if you guys can throw some blocks and bring it home for shift?
Man, it's going to be tough. Well, odds are against us. I mean, it's nice to have us up here. He said he's definitely going to try and see what he can hold back for me, do what he can. But it's for him, he's plowing tight after the damage. So we're both we're a little bit of sitting ducks. But there's 2 of us, so who knows what can happen. This place is tight. This place is crazy. It's just nice to see the pace car under caution for once.
All right, Matthew. Well, congratulations, man. You got any shout-outs for us here before we send you off for the rest of this race?
Yeah, absolutely. I know for sure my dad's watching. Mom and grandparents are probably watching. That's awesome. The Mohawk Foundation, it was a really, really horrible start to this season, but we've turned it around awesomely, and they've stuck with us and supported us the whole way, and Shift Esports. Seth for picking up a lot of my slack on the ownership side. Nick and Dallas for working with me. And you guys do a great job in the booth, and I always look forward to rewatching these broadcasts after we're done with them.
Awesome, Matthew. Well, congratulations and good luck here the rest of the way, and we'll see you back on Thursday for ERSCA with Carlos.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right, good luck, Matthew. Hope we talk to you after the race here.
I sure hope so. Thank you.
Matthew Bayuk, race leader. Under fire from Nick Massey, and I will tell you, if there's somebody hungry to get a race win up here in this group, well, really, if there's any drivers in this field hungrier than Bayuk to get a win, it's those 2 guys in the top row, Massey and Lytle. Neither of them have a race win yet this season. I mean, if you told me we were approaching the chase before the start of the season and Tate Lytle and Nick Massey didn't have a win, I would have told you were crazy.
Yeah, it's been a very rough season for those 2 in that regard. Tate's had a couple solid runs. I think he might have had a couple top 3s, but still has not been able to get to victory lane here yet this season. Surprising, kind of came out of nowhere here on this last little run. Now sitting in the top 4, gonna have a good shot at maybe bringing this one home.
Best car on fresh tires, by the way. Johnny Thomas in 13th. He actually really didn't lose anything. He had fallen down to about 10th. Lost, 3 spots? Now he's going to start with fresh rubber here? Good strategy for the 83 car.
You saw, I mean, He'd have to be as aggressive as Massey and Whitley, but it could give him a pretty solid run here if he's aggressive on this restart.
Bayuk waiting now, and he and Matt and Indelicato go. It will give Indelicato the preferred line into one. Bayuk is clear. Indelicato is clear. Massey cuts Cameron Rich off entering turn one.
Tate Lytle trapped on the high side here with Ethan Burrell right behind him.
We talked about that Shift Esports, barrier up here at the front of the field. They've got a car that's wounded and a car with old tires. They're going to see if they can hold off the field. They're wrecking in the back. McIntosh, Mogard, rolls all around, and the caution waves again. And I will say, the more we... Oh, another hit back there. I will say, the more cautions we get, I think the less what Bayou said rings true. These guys are not going to give up this lead. Looks like that started up even higher, further up with Robert Hill.
Yeah, right now, cautions can be the best friend for Matthew Bayou.
Oh, man, who was that hit him so late? That might have been Player. Oh, man, yeah, McIntosh got into Hill to start all this, and then McIntosh gets finished off by Hanshaw. Jared Mogard, one of our bubble drivers, nowhere to go, gets clobbered twice. Oh, it's Wesley Crump that pounds into Mogard well after the wreck there. The Daytona winner at risk definitely of missing the playoffs. There's a lot of guys that are out of the chase right now, and he had a big opportunity to put a ton of distance between himself and Scott Crump. As it stands, he'll only gain a few points. This has been a race of attrition. A couple of guys up into the top 10 now that have been wrecked multiple times. Hank Steinville and Matthew Weeks. So, you can come back from those early wrecks, but it's these big hits late that are, you just can't come back. You can't do anything.
So we saw in that last restart where Indelicato and Bayou kind of went together and timed up that restart. I'm sure there was probably some team communication in that. That's not going to be able to be the case this time because Indelicato is going to have to be on the outside. And Massey will be on the inside here behind Bayou.
Here's what I would do if I were the two Shift Esports teammates right here. I line up Bayou on the top. And I have him go just before Indelicato. Then, if Tate Lytle gets up to you, he's not in the preferred lane. You ought to be able to pull him exiting one. Bayou ought to be able to drop down in front of Indelicato by the start-finish line and get into one single file. And you've trapped Massey on the bottom behind Indelicato.
Well, like you said, Indelicato can kind of hold up Massey so that way Bayou can get out there. So I'm sure there's probably going to be, but they're not going to do it. Bayou to the bottom.
Yeah, and I think the hope here is that Bayou can time the start enough to get a gap between himself and Massey so that Indelicato can shoot down between. But I don't know. I think if I was Bayou, I would prefer to go where I know that my teammate might still give me that inside lane here with 10 laps to go. Whereas Massey is absolutely not going to yield that inside lane to Indelicato at this point. Right? If Indelicato doesn't get a perfect start here with that damaged car, Massey's going to be through and right on the back bumper of the guy with older tires.
At that point, I think he's a sit and duck.
Yeah, I think so too. But then, what Massey said was, or what Indelicato, or Bayou said rather, was, if he loses the lead, he might come down pit road. Johnny Thomas only fell at 14.
That's if he gets another.
And James Heater is now 12th, by the way. Those guys are the guys with the freshest tires.
That would be if he got another caution.
Right. He may not, and from the lead, I certainly don't want to pit from the lead ever. But if you fall back to 5th or 6th, and you have the old tires, might be the better play. We'll see what happens here. Pace car is going to dive in. Bayou brings him down slow, and now goes pretty late. Massey's going to try to keep that gap from allowing Indelicato in. I think Indelicato's going to clear Massey.
Yeah, he didn't get it, and Delicato's going to have second, Massey to third. Lytle going to be right on his back bumper looking for that third position.
Make it through turn 1. Turn 2's been the trouble spot. Bunch of cautions out of 2. And everybody makes it through clean so far. Yes, think the field made it through that time. So now in Delicato, going to try to, run that preferred line, keep Massey away from his teammate.
The outside goes Massey. He might actually end up losing the third spot with this move. Lytle looking to the inside. Oh, crossover.
Here comes Massey to the bottom, and Delicato slides it out of turn 3. They'll be side by side through 4. Bayuk is praying his teammate can hold him off a lot longer. I don't think he's going to be able to, though. Massey and Lytle with the big move. Now here comes Lytle to the bottom.
They all over the back of Nick here.
That may spell disaster. That may spell disaster for Matthew Bayuk right there. Massey to second, Lytle to third, Burrell to fourth, and Delicato falling like a rock.
Well, he got a little tap there from Lytle. Lytle slid up the track. They made just very minor contact, and that bumped Delicato up the hill a little bit more, allowed Burrell to come through.
I tell you, it's minor contact on our end. I'm guessing it will not be viewed by minor contact by the drivers. Kwame Scott just hit the curb. They make it through there okay. Johnny Thomas cuts to the bottom. He'll be 3 wide with Damien and Weeksford. Oh, they're going to wreck right there, too. Yep, Damien in the wall. Vincent in the wall. Cooper Johnson. Big wreck on the coming out of 4. I saw that one coming. Johnny Thomas cut it down to the bottom, went 3 wide, and I think Damien moved up to give him the lane, and they were 3 wide, and it bounced Damien off of Weeks and cut him sideways across the field. The fewer laps Matthew Bayuk needs to run, the better. At this point with full tires. Yeah, there it is. Damien had already gotten into Weeks, and then it was on. Nadel involved, Harrison Talon involved, Robert Hill involved, Cooper, Kyle Hanshaw. I think McIntosh gets a piece of this. Gonna be a track blocking incident coming off of 4. Bam! Cooper Johnson gets pile driven by Kyle Hanshaw. Nowhere to go. Fella's got a lot of damage. All started with Johnny Thomas there going to the inside. Making an aggressive move. Like we said earlier, Johnny doesn't have anything to lose. Yes. It's facing the other way. Good, he does get woed up for this wreck, so does Seth Rawls. Kyle Smalley got taken out in this. There will be no repeat. So, how about this guy sitting here all of a sudden in 4th place?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that a few minutes ago when he cracked into the top 5. Very under the radar, started in the back. Really haven't talked about him much at all day. Had a little bit of contact, I think, in one rack, and all of a sudden here he is sitting in 4th.
Ethan Burrell has had a quietly strong day. And it is all about where you finish at the end of this race. I mean, we've seen it all season long. Guys have come from the back, come from having made, been in an incident or speeding on pit road or making mistakes early in the race to good finishes and to capitalizing the points. And that's what you're going to have to do in the chase, right? It's not going to go perfect for guys like Ethan Burrell, for Ryan Lutz, for everybody involved here. They're going to have to make the best out of bad situations, and that's one thing that Ethan Burrell does as well as anybody in this series.
This is a signature 2021 run from him. Like, this is what we saw consistently during the regular season last year.
He would be kind of nowhere, top 5, right? Wouldn't it matter? In position for the win, which I think he is right now. If some of these guys start bouncing off each other, Burrell can be right there. Matthew Bayuk will need to go for 4 consecutive laps with the race lead to win this thing. Hot on his heels, Nick Massey, Tate Lytle, Ethan Burrell. Pace car is off.
Cautions have helped him out. Now can he just hold them off behind? He's got a bunch of hungry drivers ready to come after him with fresher tires.
As he spun him a little bit, it's going to allow Tate Lytle to get to the inside of the 48. That'll create a big battle for second. And I think you're going to have to give it to Tate Lytle.
Tate's got it.
Tate Lytle, Nick Massey, Ethan Burrell, they're all lined up nose to tail behind Matthew Bayuk, and Bayuk does not have a big gap this time.
David, who was your pick?
Oh, well, it's the leader.
Yeah, guess who's coming from second?
And he'll say, who's your pick coming after him? It's almost like sometimes we think we know what we're talking about. Tate's all over him. Nick Massey is definitely Bayuk's best friend right here. Lytle sideways off the corner, but it's going to be a really good run for the 56. What will Bayuk do? He has never won an ERSCA race. Blocks Lytle to the inside wall. Tate to the top. That's not going to work, I don't think. Massey to the bottom.
David called it right before the restart. Who's sitting in the perfect position right now? Maybe that car watching all of this go on right behind him. The 37 Ethan Burrell sitting back and letting these three fight it out.
I guarantee you, the next time Bayuk throws that block, he's not going to make the next corner. Here comes Massey trying to shove the 29 by Tate Lytle. Tate on the top trying to make it work on the non-preferred line. I think he might have it. What will Bayuk do? He's never won an ERSCA race.
Gonna pinch him down, contact. Lytle to the lead.
Lytle clears to the lead. Massey, and here comes Burrell up top, 3 wide for second. It's all behind Tate Lytle.
Massey couldn't get around Bayuk there, and that's going to hurt him.
And this is all Tate Lytle now. Burrell the second, the teammates there as Bayuk falls to third. Massey couldn't get by the 29. Now he'll jump to the bottom. James Heater with his fresh tires has suddenly risen into the top 5. I don't think Heater has enough time, but like he's 5th.
This has really hurt Nick Massey not being able to get around Matthew Bayuk.
Yep, Bayuk to third. Massey there. We might be talking to James Heater when this thing is all said and done in that battle for third, but I think those two Pro Edge Toyotas have played this thing absolutely perfectly. Tate Lytle coming to the white flag. Ethan Burrell second. Bayuk third. Massey about wrecks it off of 4. He and Francis and Hayter are going to be 3 wide for 4th.
I think Bayuk's going to be able to hold on for this 3rd place spot, though.
Yeah, Heater got it. It started ruffling the feathers of Massey and Francis. Heater bounces off of Francis. They almost reckon too. Joe Francis clears to 4th. It's all behind Tate Lytle now. He didn't lead until 2 laps to go. I think that was the first time Tate Lytle led all day. He was involved in a wreck on, I think, the very first caution. He's gone out here and taken home a victory in the ERSCA Series. First one of the season for Tate Lytle, finally. They are going to finish this thing out 3 wide off of 4 between Whitley, Rich, and Indelicato. But Tate Lytle is going to win this race. Ethan Burrell will be second. Matthew Bayuk is going to nip Joe Francis for 3rd. James Heater for 5th over Massey. Then Whitley beats Rich and Indelicato to the line in that 3 wide battle, and Johnny Thomas picks up a top 10 run. In terms of the bubble, James Heater and Joe Francis are the ones that are going to be the big gains out of all that. Those guys, I think, weren't even quite close to the bubble, but we do know Joe Francis pretty good at those plate tracks. He's got a Talladega victory last season. And Francis and Heater aren't even on this list. Whitley did have a good day. He'll likely jump a bunch of those guys and head into the top 10. Massey had a good day. That clear him from the bubble.
Ethan gonna
Bayuk
have
is
a-
likely good.
Ethan gonna have a big day too, gaining some points back against Kwame, with Kwame finishing outside the top 10 here.
There's a big gap, though. I think Kwame's pretty safely the regular season champion. A lot of congratulations for Tate Lytle, the race winner. He'll go do burnouts on the Yard of Bricks. Tate Lytle wins at Indianapolis. And he then noses it into the inside wall. All right, let's go get Matthew Bayuk here. We did just talk to him. Let's talk to him one more time, since he did bring it home in third. Matthew Bayuk, it's David in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Well, not quite the result you were looking for, but I don't think you can be disappointed with an effort like that, man. You held him off really long.
Absolutely. Honestly, I was throwing whatever blocks I could and doing everything I could to hold on to it, trying to just cause issues and get people stacked up. I knew I mean, you never say this, but I knew, like, at the bottom of my heart it was going to be hard, because the guys behind me, I mean, Tate Lytle, Burrell, Massey, these guys are all fast as all hell, and they're on the fresher tires. I knew they would be coming. Just a really good day, though. We were up a decent bit on the cut line, 5th in the stage with the lap sled and the 0X and the top 3 finish. It makes Daytona a whole lot more comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, are you and the Shifty Sports guys going to have a specific plan going in? I know Seth's going to be kind of on the outside looking in. You know, are you planning to run in the back, or are you going to go for the win?
It's going to be close for Seth. He was already, I think, plus 12 as far. It's weird because of the wild card guys. You really never know how it's going to work out. Last year was super weird with the wild card guys. But he's right around that cut line. He ended up 16th. I know some other cut line guys had bad races. So it's hard to say. I've never been much of a front runner at Daytona. If the points gap I've got turns out to be good enough and it's like just finish the race in like 25th and you'll be fine. I don't know how big the points gap's going to be, but for Seth, it's probably going to... I don't know. We're going to help him out. We're going to help him out because Nick's all but locked. Nick's pretty much locked in. I'll be close.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we can to get our boy Seth up there.
Gotcha. I'll look out for that Shifty Sports teamwork next week. Bayuk, I know we got you the shout-outs before, but give them one more time before we send you off.
Again, yeah, I mean, hey, I got to make it count. We were 4th the last 2 races and finally get up here in the interview booth. Once again to my parents for watching. They've watched every race this season. It's a whole lot of fun when you've got an audience. Grandparents and my brothers pay attention. My whole family pretty much. Shifty Sports. We've built something really great here at Shift. It's come a long way. The Mohawk Foundation for taking the chance on us and supporting us. Really, really awesome stuff. Please check out their foundation. They do a lot for breast cancer research through endurance sports and esports. It's great. Nick was fighting like hell trying to do whatever he could. It's very selfless, very nice of him. You guys putting on a great broadcast. So again, I'll say it. I'll see you Thursday for ERSCA, and Johnny and the admins for doing a good job keeping the things nice and clean and in order every week.
So, well, thank you, Bayuk, and good luck next week at Daytona, and good luck in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure you'll be in there.
I'm confident.
With that, let's grab second place finisher Ethan Burrell. Tate won the race. Ethan, David in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Ethan, you know, you keep starting at the back and making your way up to the front kind of quietly, as it were. You know, is that planned, or what is your process here? Because you're fooling us. We're all like, oh, what's wrong with Ethan Burrell? And then he's second at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know, I wish I was confident enough to tell you that it was planned, but I've been slumping and qualifying for honestly a couple months now, I think, in ERSCA. And I don't know, my new work schedule, I hardly get home 5-10 minutes before qualifying starts, so I've been telling myself, though, man, it's, you know, I know I'm looking great in the points, and once this chase comes around, I'm gonna have to start putting some laps in on the weekends, because these guys are stout, and I feel like I show up clueless and qualifying and the first, you know, half the race really, and then I finally start getting in a groove and have some luck go my way, and my gosh, somehow end up here. I don't know how we did it tonight, though. I mean, I was flabbergasted crossing the line second after all that.
Yeah, and take us through kind of that beginning part of the day. You ended up in that restart wreck that wasn't really a caution, and you had to bounce back. Cautions fell your way. Was that damage slowing you down at all?
Yeah, it was. I was just a little bit slow at the end of the straightaways. So I mean, I would try everything I could to get through the corners as quick as possible, and I actually felt really quick through the exits of the corners, and by the time I got about halfway down the backstretch, I would start slowly losing time. But yeah, just another bad qualifying effort, and that lap 7 or whatever it was, picking up the damage and just trying to fight and claw, and squeaked through a couple wrecks right after that, and was kind of working my way forward, kind of stalling out like 15th or so, and everything just happened to fall our way at the end there. That was crazy.
And Ethan, I think one thing that Dom was talking about, there when we saw that you were all fourth all of a sudden was that it's kind of the hallmark of what you do is you kind of have a quiet race and then all of a sudden you're there at the end. And I would say that's what you have to do to win this chase. Is even though you maybe have a bad qualifying run or a bad day, you're going to be up front at the end, battling for the win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just, I was telling Tate too in the team chat, after he got the win, it's just like never quit. It's because he had a pretty up and down night too. But I mean, all of a sudden, both of us just ended up right at the front there. So you just keep fighting, keep doing what you can do, and it starts coming to you throughout the race. Start picking up a little bit more pace, kind of picking up on what the fast guys are doing, and you get a couple cautions to fall your way, and all of a sudden you end up there fighting for it. So yeah, just I mean, if I'm gonna do anything in this chase, I'm gonna have to brush up on qualifying and kind of the first half of the race, because I mean there's so much competition. It's insane out there. So, but yeah, man, it's just keep fighting.
Gotcha, man. Well, you got any shout outs for us here before we send you off? And I know I didn't get to it, but Daytona next week, before you give the shout outs, how you feeling about Daytona and then the chase in general?
Yeah, I didn't know it was Daytona next week. Oh boy. It's going to be fun for me. I'm thankful to be in the position I'm in the standings, so I don't think it should be, I don't know if I'm mathematically locked in, but there shouldn't be too much stress there, which makes a late season Daytona race way much more enjoyable. But yeah, just huge shout out to Tate. I mean, he was stout. He had a little bit of damage, and he just kept fighting, got up there, took the win. Shout out to Bayuk too, man. I was really pulling for him as much as I wanted a Pro Edge win. I was kind of quietly rooting for him there. But shout out Anthony Ludi, 213 Simware, all the guys at Pro Edge Racing, and you guys, of course, for bringing us a nice broadcast here. It's means a lot to us, and yeah, on to Daytona next week. We'll go have some fun and try not to go flipping.
Sounds good, man. Well, thank you, Ethan. Congratulations on the second place run, and I believe the guaranteed chase berth. I'm pretty sure you're in.
Awesome. Yep. You have a good one.
You too. All right, now let's bring up the race winner, Tate Lytle. Tate, congratulations on the win, buddy. That was an eventful night.
Dude, you're telling me. Holy cow. Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this race, bro. It was crazy. I messed up both qualifying laps and started shotgun on the field. Literally ran like worse than 20th. Got spun out, somehow didn't get wrecked. Drove my way up there on that long run, and I don't know. I guess this is just the racing gods breaking even for Charlotte. Kind of a little redemption for that race, but yeah, I don't know. I can't remember who I was racing other than Bayuk, but got stuck on the outside there, and I don't really know how it stuck. But once we got out in clean air, I figured all I had to do was put down a couple decent laps, and I don't know what it is about Indy, man. I feel like I never run amazingly here, but I've lucked into quite a few wins here, so feels good, especially after getting a win taken away from me from circumstance last time out. So just a crazy night. Never thought I'd actually be getting interviewed, let alone for winning the race. So pretty darn cool.
Yeah, well, I would say, you know, and we kind of talked about it with Ethan too, because the both of you ended up at the front of the field at the end of the race, you know, despite early incidents. Is that the kind of mindset that you guys are gonna, you know, have a leg up on with the rest of the field regarding the chase coming up, where you're gonna need to overcome this adversity? You know, when something doesn't go right in the chase, you still need to come forth with a top 5 run at the end of the day to win this championship. You know, you guys have a lot of experience with that. It seems to happen every time for you guys. You know, is that something you can carry into the playoffs?
For sure. I mean, it's never over till it's over. I didn't have any damage after that spin. It set me back a set of tires, and obviously a bunch of spots. But I knew if I got a long run, I was going to be. You know, I knew after practice that I was going to have top 5 speed. It's just a matter of getting up there with how hard it was to pass. And I don't know if I thought winning was necessarily going to be a thing, but I really anticipated to be able to get up into the 5th, 6th or so. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little dumbfounded there. That was a crazy race. It's been a long time since I won an ERSCA. I think I mentioned that last time when I lost on the last restart there with guys staying out, and it's been since last May. So I don't know how many races that is, but I hope I don't ever have a winless streak that long in this series again. So feels pretty good, especially at Indy. Locks us into the chase. I was kind of worried about it because I'm not 100% sure that I'll be able to make the race next time out. So we'll, yeah, pretty cool night. Glad to get the win. Me and Ethan getting 1-2 for the team. It was, I remember looking at the relative there on like lap 2 or 3, and we were 29th and 31st. So just shows you don't give up. Keep trying, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it does. But got to shout out Days Gone By, Brent Wentz. He does a lot for me, does a lot for the league. Go check out his Twitter account, Days Gone By Vintage Racing Apparel. Got an Etsy link in the bio and a lot of super cool old racing stuff. I mean, he's changing it every couple days. He's getting new stuff in, so go check it out. Keep checking it out. Shout out to JD Designs for the good-looking car, and shout out to Dad, Louise, and Lo. I finally won a race when they were watching. It's been a while, so pretty cool. I know Dad was texting me there at the end of the race, so I know he was watching. And yeah, 56 car in victory lane. Can't complain.
Hey, Tate.
Man, well, congratulations, and let Dom get you a question.
It's not a question. I just want to thank you for making us look like we know what we're doing up here sometimes, especially when we pick you guys to win. So,
who picked me after I qualified at 36th?
I did.
Hey, good on you. Good on you.
Bayuk. So we look smart. I tell you what.
Yeah, as long as David's not picking me, then I don't care.
Gotcha.
And I anticipate Carlos probably picked Cam. So.
Yeah, we had 3 guys in the top 10 tonight.
There you go. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you next time out, hopefully.
Thanks, Tate. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Well, with that, send Tate to the waiting room here.
Bye.
With that, I believe we've got points as well, updated. Currently, Matthew Weeks is in the top 10. Ryan Lutz has fallen outside the top 10. So he would get in on a wild card. As would Hank Steinmiller, who jumped Jared Mogard by 3 points. Just outside, Joe Francis, James Heater, Damian Leininger. Crump is well down the order of guys with a win, so man, Daytona's going to be crazy next week, I tell you what.
Yeah, and Johnny's done a good job here for the spectator vantage point of it, of putting Daytona there as the last race, which just makes it all that more dramatic and the unexpected of what can happen in this last race.
Absolutely. Well, for Dom Santina, Carlos Acosta, and David Westergreen, this has been 3 Wide TV and Belly Up Sports for ERSCA, the Ohio Intra Express 200. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for Daytona.